A VSR production.
We've been on this creative thing for a little while, and on the journey so far is like how things kind of intertwine and come together is so funny. But as you can see, to the left is 1Clauze.
Never few. Hi who?
Believe, you know what I mean? We're there also with Jurick, up and coming artist in the vibe, doing him thing in the streets, bringing a positive, different energy to the vibe. And we're there, basically go through some perspectives, have some discussions. But what we wanted to do is endorse this moment right here with both 1Clauze as well as Jurick, just to discuss some topical stuff and some issues facing us today in the spirit of what we have for this podcast, which is just upliftment of the youth of Jamaica, really, and the next generation to come, you know what I mean? And really utilizing culture, or music or entertainment to get on broader levels at a national level. You know, we know that we're getting there. You know, we'll always have it sustained because we are Jamaica. Jamaica is Jamaica, full stop. And we'll always have the blessing to be able to ride that till forever.
Why?
Why but that? But beyond that though, you know what I mean, utilizing that to spread it even bigger and really foundation it and have it transcend to more generations. So as I tell you, on a creative journey so far for the almost 6 years, I just feel like that's a connect sometime, and I've been a fan of your work, see your work as well as your consistency in the thing, and how you've been able to really transcend an audience that look to you as a sound voice within the community that effectively representing a very objective view from his lens, but with realness and with non bias effectively, you know, and yeah, you know what I mean, and is a very important thing. So as I tell you, you know, that's connect. They're on the computer over there, and I did see the Jeffrey interview, you know what I mean, big up Jeffrey. What it did for me at that time as a fan, and in my journey with you as a fan, was to now allow me to see another side of 1Clauze, you know what I mean, and allow us to see a now personal side as well as get some context and background. Why? You know, there's some history for the vibe, you know what I mean? Which is always a good thing. So, by way of a quick introduction, we could hear who is 1Clauze, and how his journey has been so far, on this whole content thing and what he's trying to do.
Well, a lot of people know me as 1Clauze. People know me as Ganja Clause. One never few, the Uptown Ambassador. You know, I have several names, but I would say I'm a social media. We wouldn't go as far as to say content creator. I'm not sure if I'm exactly an influencer. I make a couple TikTok videos. I talk to my phone that day. And I more give my authentic take on what's going on. Whether I'm right, whether I'm wrong, whether I may tell somebody about them, whatnot, or we're talking about more serious topics. I'm giving my honest take on it, and yeah,
the people love it.
I never thought that I could talk to my phone and it really manifest in the way that it has, but we just keep moving with the momentum, you know.
Straight, no man, is a great look. It's a great look. To right to me is somebody who also holds a very important place in how the dots connecting, you know what I mean? We're connected with Jurick. How long now, Jurick?
From when 2023,
2024, thereabout. Jurick has a very powerful story as well as a very powerful talent, and you know, just being a part of this movement and being a part of what he's doing and his artistry has truly been a blessing to us at VSR. So Jurick, for the people them who, you know, may not have heard Jurick's music or heard of Jurick, give a quick introduction.
Alright, so people don't know Jurick, you know, we kind of trickle it down. So I was a victim of a tragic house fire. You know, it claimed the lives of both my mother, my sister. You know, fast forward, grew up in a place of safety. People that know it as like the water of the state and something like that. And music was a thing I'm always, you know, is always a go-to because it was like the only place I could have expressed myself is in, and that grew over time in something where, you know, is a part of me, a part of my DNA, a part of my whole mentality. So I just feel like say is just my duty for be of service to people through, you know, the music. And, you know, Jurick is a straightforward person, you know, no BS type of youth. And you know that too, you see. So, you know, the authentic part of myself, I try to share with people.
Straight. Yeah, man, it's exactly like that, you know. And as I quickly said, just by way of quick introduction, Paul, VSR, you know, Visually Sound Records. We've been doing this for a very long time. Visually Sound Media Production, as well as effectively, 2 companies within a wider, content capture and just production capture to ultimately advance and help the youth the same way, you know what I mean? VSR side on the music, media production side more on the more broad-based media. But through the music, we've been able to collaborate with a lot of upcoming artists, you know what I mean? The catalog reach almost 100 so far. You know, we're looking forward to that, you know, what we've been able to put in a lot of consistent work around talent in Jamaica, you know what I mean? And as you guys know, Jamaica full of talent. One thing we not short of is talent, you know what I mean? And basically through our mission, again, both on both sides, both the core music side as well as the broader media production side, what we're aiming to do is to continue to provide opportunities through knowledge sharing, through opportunity sharing, through just building as creatives, you know, greatness through creative collaboration. Again, talent there like salt, brother.
Yeah,
you know?
just started.
Yeah, when Clauze that talked about it earlier, and that, you know, literally every man is a star. So what we are going to do is talk about how we see music, entertainment, culture impacting Jamaica on whole, obviously in comparison to current state and where we can go beyond current state. And generally, is that true, or am I here chatting BS? And if so, how you see in terms of avenues and ways to get there, Clauze?
Yeah, as it relates to content creation and that form of creative expression, Brand Jamaica has contributed so much to the cultures of other countries, and it's not seen as directly being an expression and a product of Jamaica. But when you hear how people in England talk and people in Canada talk, and even the way that people in America dress and how they portray themselves and what they listen to at parties and what they find cool and what they pay attention to, it's so directly influenced by Jamaicans. And the way that I see the content creation, it's the closest way of the culture directly interacting with foreigners and locals without it passing through the dilution of video and maybe an artist singing a song or some other way it could be misinterpreted. It's directly the people interacting with the audience, and it's such a powerful thing because, again, you don't know who's watching, you don't know when they're watching, you don't know how many people, you have some idea with the metrics and analytics, but the truth is, like, the impact of how far it's going and what people really take from what he's saying, it's immeasurable. And what social media provides is a direct connection with the audience and the creator, and that expands and shoots a culture in a way where it's just for the powers that be to recognize how influential and powerful it truly is.
Believe. You know, again, before when we were having the conversation, Clauze was very keen on that kind of kind of story, you know what I mean, and the manifestation of that. And as he's rightly said, one of the important things that we're seeing right now, which is really characterizing this whole thing, is just the decentralization of everything. Now, no matter what, from you have a phone, you have access to the internet, and literally have access to billions of people inherently, right? You know what I mean? We doing production for the past 5-6 years. We could do what we are do, say 10 to 15 years, you know what I mean? If we never innate and have access to certain resources and this and that and rate, but effectively the internet has empowered us to, and just technology has empowered us to be able to think, and that's effectively what is happening, that decentralization where all somebody need is a phone to make huge impact potentially, you know, in what they do and change, and we see it changing the lives of so many people. And to you, Jurick, and in consideration of that, and in just thinking about the wider construct of how music, culture, and entertainment interplays with socio-economic growth as a youth innate, you know what I mean, as a youth hunting that dream, how you feel the system is empowering you to do that. If it isn't, how you feel it can be, as well as just on the flip side in terms of now how content is playing a role in expression, how you feel about that.
Alright, so honestly, based on my journey and, you know, journey with VSR, you know, it is about being present every day. It is about being present on the internet, despite you know, the disadvantages that you think may arise. So as an artist or as a creative or somebody in the space, is always like your duty for, you know, be authentic self. And that's one of the things that we as creatives or artists are, you know, once in the space we feel like said there is some level of limitation, and the limitation is based on, you know, what we think can work, what we think won't work. And, you know, the space where we are going now with the music, it's been changing like so rapidly, you know, and there's this urge for change always. So even in the diaspora and overseas, Jamaica culture, has influenced a lot. We can't deny that. And me as an artist, that's basically my purpose, to be of service to others. So if me being of service to others is by through music, or is through art, or is through public speaking, or is through any areas of my life where my talent can be of service, why not? And as I say, there's always a downside, as I would say, the system rig to the extent where we can see certain things, but there's also, you know, places where we can work for better. Which part it they know? Yeah.
So one of the things you mentioned was showing up every day. Clauze and I again was having a conversation about just the importance of consistency in the whole thing, and really and truly consistency when you take it, you know, we're talking about it in this content creation context, but really and truly consistency has always been a part of the formula of life to reap certain goals and things. It's not a new thing. It's not under the sun. Consistency has become important, and I think Clauze has had an understanding of that just based on his own journey and how he has been able to consistently show up on the internet and build a true fan base and followership that he is serving to connect the points again. You know, how you feel about that messaging, Clauze, about one, consistency, how you feel about the effort it takes to be consistent, as well as how do you feel about being able to transcend that message to the youths and now equip them in a way to succeed in achieving a consistent presence.
Why that's all again? As it relates to consistency, when you get a chance through the door, because it's very easy to get a one viral moment or a one hit video or a one big song. But once you get the eyes on you and once you somewhat start to develop the audience, that's when the work really starts. And as it relates to what I do with social media, the lifespan of content is very, very short. It has a short shelf life. Topics are only relevant for 3 days max. After that, it's stale. And the nature of even more comedic content, you can hear a joke once and it's funny. By the second time, you laugh a little bit. Third time, you stop laugh. The fourth time, you get vexed. Mm-hmm. By the fifth time, you feel like they might force you to watch it. And by the sixth time, well, that person I forgot sucking mother. So you have to always be able to change what you're doing and still remain in the same style that you were presenting it, because you have a lot of people that don't really care what you're talking about. They're paying attention to you saying it. But then at the same time, especially as it relates to my content, the majority of people who watch are interested in what I happen to be talking about. And then they connect through the comment section with what further is happening. So it's about not missing what's going on and constantly meeting the requirements, because if you miss one day, it's like missing 1 week in the real world, and 2 days is 1 month, and 3 days is 1 year. Yeah. Because it's very easy to, I wouldn't necessarily say lose your place, but it's very easy to lose relevancy if you're not putting out a consistent quality product. And a lot of people don't see it as work or a serious use of time.
What do you say to that? What do you say to that? You know, and I want to hear the full thought, but what do you say to that? Because I think that's a lot of the thing to like, Mommy, I'm going to become a content creator. You're like,
well, I understand the objections to it, because the very nature of content creation, as the way the audience interacts with it, it's based off of, it's a distraction. It's the least amount of effort in terms of your consumable media, because even for the case of TikTok, you don't even need an account. And when you're searching for something, you don't search for it. It shows it to you. When you're on Instagram, it shows you your friend's content and it shows you what it thinks you want to see. On YouTube, all you have to do is make a decision, click this, click that. You don't have to pay. You don't have to this. You don't have to that. So the nature of how it's consumed, people don't give it the sort of credence that it deserves as a serious thing, because a lot of people project that, oh, they're not putting in an effort, or this is a waste of time, or blah, 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 because they're seeing it as a waste of time and they're not using any effort to interact with it. Yeah. But it takes a lot of work. And for those who understand the metrics and the numbers and the influence, I realize that they see the seriousness of what it is, when most people see it as, they talk to my phone like I idiot. Yeah. And the reality is that it doesn't really matter as long as you're watching. And the aim of what I'm trying to do is to be not necessarily liked or disliked. I'm trying to be polarizing, and I'm trying to make people feel something and feel it intensely. So you're going to get a lot of supporters. You're going to get a lot of, I don't want to say haters or bad mind, but a lot of people that disagree. Yeah. But the most important thing is to make sure you're putting out something that they're watching to have an opinion on.
So we're going to have that as a segue, particularly to Jurick on something specific. But before we round that out, in terms of just an expression of consistency through, I guess a quantifiable metric, you and I were talking about it. How many times have you posted, and in terms of a representation of your consistency, one, how long have you been doing social media, and on average or along some type of scale, how many times have you showed up for the year?
I can be somewhat transparent with my numbers, because the very nature of social media is that everything is out there and people can fact check and they can just look. I first started making videos and posting outside 2021, and I went over my numbers the other day, so I can give a more detailed breakdown. In 2021, I posted 6 videos. I had 96,000 views collectively. My first video, I posted it. So how I even started posting on TikTok, I used to make Snapchat videos and things cause I want to show girls I'm funny, you know. And one of them was like, no, you're actually really funny. Like, yeah, but you're actually, you can, like, you're really funny. You should at least post something and see where it goes. I posted one video and it got like 10,000 views in a day. And I thought, well, this was easy. Can do this. Posted 4 more videos and I think it was the 5th or the 6th video went viral. Yeah. And it had like 70,000 views and all of them kind of added up to the 20 odd and that one had 70 odd thousand. I was like, all right, well, maybe I can do this. The next year, 2022, I had 25 videos and I had 1 million views. So I wasn't doing it every week. I was kind of doing maybe like once a month or when I got a vibe, I post a video. I never tried to force a topic or force a video. Sure. And I just posted based off of what I thought was funny. Sure. And I got a couple, as soon as I got the viral sounds, I got a sound where I said ball, scream and cry, shit and vomit and all them things there. And that got, I think there's 1,500 videos that use the sound and collectively like more than like a couple million views. And that's when I was like, all right, well, I really can do this. Yeah. 2023, I had, I don't remember what exact number, but by this point, I pretty much was posting once a week and I had 10 million views for 2023. That was when I got in my little back and forth with, with the, she who shall not be named. And that kind of elevated me more from someone who made viral videos to somebody who was viral. And at that point, I had 7,000 followers after the 2 years. And then the incident happened. Next week, I went to 15,000. The week after that, I went to 20,000. By the end of that year, I had 40,000 followers. Then 2024 came and January 1st, 2024, I decided I was going to take social media seriously. I was going to post a video every day. I was going to find a way to make this into something that I can earn money off of. And before that time, I was making videos for fun and thing, but I was a racehorse trainer as my profession. And then I had a horse that I had a real relationship with and an attachment with who died tragically. And I was like, I lost my drive, as it were, for it to be something where it was monetizable, because first thing they always tell you is you can't develop an attachment because things will happen and they only race for so long and this, that, and the third. And the whole reason I was in it was because I love the horses. So I love gambling, but I love the horses and that's why I did it. And when I realized, all right, this hurt me too much. I can't do this as my everyday. I was lucky enough to kind of have somewhat of an audience at that point and the support of my family to actually take the risk and do it. And I made a video pretty much every day, 2024. I went from 10 million views the year before to 37 million views. Yeah, and I put out a video every day. I never missed, if I missed one day, I never missed 2 days. And I ended up posting sometimes even 2-3 times a day. I started to get 1 million views a month to 4 million views, to 1 million views a week, which I've averaged since like October. And as of now, 2025, I have 40 million views in the half of the year, where last year it was 37 total. I've passed 100 million views on all the social media. On Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. So
right across the road.
Yeah, hitting that number was like, all right, hitting that number made me realize, all right, I'm an established voice within the social media landscape, at least for Jamaica. So now it's about trying to move past that and get into the real world and see how much further I can take this thing. There's only about 3 million Jamaican or so. So we can get 100 million views. That means at least all of them must watch it at least 10 times. So it's just to see how far I can really, elevate.
Yeah, man. No, man. I go segue to Jurick on something, and then we're gonna get Clauze perspective on it. Cause he alluded to it, in our prior conversation. But basically, as you know, one of the things that kind of, becomes the norm for social media is the fact that, controversy, the is what kind of stands out and is what is oftentimes seen as a thing driving the popularity on social. For you, Jurick, mindful that you are, and through your messaging and your stories, obviously, more so of a conscious, spirit and a conscious mechanism. I know sometimes, and for you and others, I know the articulation is often made that there isn't a space for that necessarily, you know what I mean? And if you do that, then you're going to struggle, particularly on a monetization, popularity, attention perspective. What is your perspective of that, and how have you been navigating that in your own career?
All right. So to some degree, it's something we think about. So more to say is a delay in you moving forward, but it sometimes feel like that. Sometimes feel like say, oh, I want if I do the right thing, or oh, them people don't really mess with me. But the part we always forget as individuals, we have a part of ourselves where we try to present to the world, or we try to present to an audience. And that is the authentic part of yourself. So it's like me, I come and I say, oh, free the beers. And then me have a couple of beers lock up in a one little cage around this. So it just don't show, that realness to yourself. So you gotta have people where just come do them thing and say, oh, this is what them represent. Kudos to, but there's still a collective of people where still want to be true to themselves, and it no matter if, me a monetize on this, or me's popular on this, over a period of time, that can turn into something as tremendous as even going viral, where some people that consider say, oh, it's a big break, or, people are similar. And as Clauze say, the attention span of people is so small. You only can do certain things in a short period of time. So you realize, say, oh, you have to just be yourself. Being yourself, it come with some of them things the way, People are say, oh, this now work for me. Why not I'm going to try another thing? And then you realize that somebody do the same thing where you did, the way you left from, and it work for them. So you realize, say, oh, is just sticking to what you think. And I realize, say, even social media, even with when we are post on social media, and your motto is, showing up on the internet every day. It's like, the bell ring, class call, present miss or present sir. So it's like that. We have to do that straight. So it becomes this ritual, or it becomes this thing where you have to say, all right, I will participate in that. But you still have individuals like myself where now I go deviate from our authentic self, because that is a valuable part of our identity.
Straight.
Isn't it?
So, flicking it to you, Clauze, in terms of the balance of the ray against the balance of, that positive, uplifting type of energy. Where do you find it? Because I do acknowledge that you based on your content, there would be expression on two sides, right? How you feel about that generally, and how you see treating with that balance and going through it in maintaining your own personal brand.
I wouldn't be able to make the conscious videos without the fuckery. People wouldn't pay attention to more in-depth talking points, or when I talk about things more critically and the more serious topics, if I didn't have the momentum and the wave and the audience, and, as it relates to not just Jamaican culture, but society as a whole, people really pay attention to things that they're shocked by, or disgusted by, or controversial things. They draw the eye more than something positive or something that we can all agree on, or this, that, and the third, or something we can support. Especially as it relates to internet virality, people are more likely to unify, to mock or to hate something or to laugh at. So when I do the fuckery videos and thing, it's the content I have to make versus the more in-depth and positive topics that's the content I want to make.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like if I never did it, and this is my honest opinion, whether it's correct or not, if I didn't do certain things, if I wasn't controversial, I wouldn't get the platform any at all. So I think it's unnecessary evil.
Yes, I say is a part of the sauce in a little way, and I say, do you think having, as you said, maybe utilize it to get the look that you do you see more of an opportunity to maybe rebalance and or shift approach in terms of, how you do your thing, or you just flow with energy and just vibe and what you're preaching?
I think the most important thing is not to overthink it, because once you start being aware and conscious of it, that within itself affects it.
Yeah.
And, you have to know limits within what you're doing. You have to know the audience you're speaking to. You have to know, all them kind of thing that it's more, I'm not going to be in front of Andrew Honest and it's a blood clapper. It's okay, mother. And, but at the same time, we're not going to be on our ends and unnecessarily cuss, and it's just about, fun with this. Yeah, fun with the situation. But not, can't force it.
Yeah, no, I like that. And based on the conversation to authenticity came up, and from my perspective, particularly doing production and just being in the music space, I'd say that sometimes, there is a common notion, I would say, right or wrong, that is how I see that, image and how you materialize your self-expression is kind of a necessary evil to the needed success, right? But in speaking to both of you and just in consideration of that messaging of authenticity, do you think that truly stands? And has there been, do you believe in a shift in consumption or just kind of how people, taking what they do and spend their time on a daily basis? Do you think that shift has been made to more authenticity versus, what you think you're seeing and the glitz?
No, hype and forward. Is still leading. No, image is still everything. In real life and in the digital realm, your reputation really dictates people's first opinion. And if you're not able to make a lasting impression with whatever it is people happen to see the first time, they're going to judge you based off of what they hear and what other people think. And the image and hype, and unfortunately I wouldn't say Jamaican people, but it's just the nature of social media and content. It's something that's very superficial and very shallow as it relates to the level of thinking that you put into interacting with the content. So if you don't have a lot of followers, I'm not follow you.
Yeah.
If it don't have a lot of likes, I'm not like it.
Yeah.
If it don't have a lot of comments, I'm not comment.
Yeah.
And people move to and gravitate to where they think, and what they think about something, rather than objectively interacting with it and thinking about it and critically engaging with whatever piece of, whether it's a song, or a lot of people make up their mind on a song based on the first 5 seconds of what them hear. Them will know so whether them want to hear it or them don't want to hear it off of just.
Yeah.
Them connect, them don't connect. And the 5 seconds, they don't even hear the artist's voice more while within 5 seconds. Yeah. The bass don't drop, the beat don't drop.
Yeah.
So that's really how I feel people engage with their phones and especially media. Because it's not the focus of anybody's life. If it is, God know that. Go outside, go touch grass. But it's not the focus of anybody's life and the time that they spend. And they use it as a distraction. They use it as, a source of enjoyment, as a source of entertainment. And nobody wants to put in work.
Yeah.
No more relax. We don't want to we don't have to think about them thing and back up all them effort. And so it's hard to make people meet you at a deeper level. But, I think that as long as you have a concept for what you're doing, people, some audience will develop for seeing the vision that you have if you keep putting it out there.
Yeah, and that was a perfect segue to you, Jurick. So, one, where is your mind as well as action and creative as it relates to the balance between, or the balance that is thought to be needed, again, whether that's true or not, between authentically showing up versus the hype and forward, the thing. Make me know how you feel about that. And then to Clauze's, last commentary there, as you said, the opportunity that notwithstanding forming a part of the mold, you are still able to execute and achieve, your impact and your reach as an actor.
All right. So honestly, I agree with what Clauze said. Like, truly, that's basically in the space and basically in the eyes of the people. People like what's trending, people like what, them can relate to in the moment or in the space which part them there.
Yeah.
It hard for really grasp the reality of what's the reality, So, as we go back to what Clauze say, nobody no want really to perform or really to think hard and say, yo, I can't go under that, where Jurick talk about, this conscious thing, I can't bother.
Yeah.
But there is, a pathway for build an audience for people that want to receive that. So it's as I tell you, it's like balancing the skills.
Yeah.
So that's how me really look upon it. And if it was like one time, would I say, oh shit, like, would I go all out and do big things just for the attention of being in that space. Yeah. So, it's about trend, it's about what's popping, it's about hype, it's about, as I say, image and all these different things. Yeah. So it's not looking past that, or it's not saying, these things are not present in the eyes of people, are present in the hearts of people. It's just that you have to just stamp on business, you have to stamp on the 10 toes them we have, where God give you. Is in. So, it's just a choice where we as individuals have to make, consciously or unconsciously, no matter where you pray.
Yeah. All right. So one of the things that has been quite topical, I guess, since the beginning of the year, subject to the exact timing and them thing there. And again, we connected on that, when we were talking. And I want to talk about it more, cause everybody is talking about this particular thing that I'm about to mention. When I say thing, you'll see why that may or may not fit, but, everybody is talking about this thing. But I know myself where I sit in relation to this thing, it had a big influence on my life growing up. And how I consumed the culture and the music at the time. So I wanted to take this opportunity, particularly through the commonality that we are sharing on that particular thing. And effectively what that is the influence of, or what has happened holistically, Jamaica-wide, worldwide, globally, since the day Vybz Kartel was released from prison. A lot of people, obviously everybody's talking about it, whole lots of views. One thing is for sure is that since well, before his release, of course. So let us not even, try to, and we're even speaking about that it's everything leading up to that, which made his release such a perfect occurrence, notwithstanding the fact that this man faced that such a long time in prison, right? So, Clauze, one, walk us through your fanship of and any interactions that you would have had with the world boss himself. Let us know as well how you feel about his presence as well as what he's currently doing within the space, and the culture of Jamaica and the impact that is having.
One of the things about why I think he is the king of dancehall is the level and the level of quality of the work he put out and the amount of work he put out. When you heard a hot rhythm, he had 4 songs on the rhythm. For years while he was in his peak or his prime, so to speak, he was putting out constant effort, constant work, constant music, even when he was in prison, right? So it's very inspiring to see the level of work, and then all of it kind of culminated in, I wouldn't go as far as to say a renaissance in terms of people paying attention to dancehall, but dancehall has been more to the forefront in terms of the global zeitgeist than it has been for the last almost 10 years. And yes, him being in prison for what he was in for and the 13 years he was away for, it added to kind of the significance of his release. And I think that, when I met him in January this year, and I didn't even get a chance to big him up or introduce myself or anything before the man stopped me and said, "Oh, I know you, man. You're a TikTok boss." And he proceeded to tell me about a video that wasn't even really one of my viral videos, but it was a video where I was saying even the son of God had to work 2 jobs. Jesus was a carpenter and a fisherman. So, whatever you do, you have to fucking work. You have to go to more than one work. If you're scared, you have to chop too. If you're Rvssian. And so I tell him about that video and I say, yo, the man, even though he's at the top of the game in terms of popularity as a Jamaican artist and the peak of dancehall attention, he's still locked into what's going on the phone and paying attention to trends and what's viral, who's viral, what people are talking about. So it shows that, especially when you're at the peak or your prime, that's when you have to put in the most work. And the man came out with an illness, and I know him don't stop perform every week. Him is in a different country, selling out another stadium, and it just shows what it takes to reach that level and to maintain that level, to keep going at that level.
No, man, that's exactly it. And again, this topic is something that I'm very passionate about, particularly because I think the Vybz Kartel story is a true representation of nothing to something against all odds within the context of Jamaica specifically, right? There are stories of that abound in different ways, shapes, Jamaica as well, many, right? Kartel is not the first, nor will he be the last. But his story stands amongst one of those which will forever be told, right? Coming out of Jamaica by what he has accomplished and done. And to connect the point and swing it to Jurick and based upon Clauze talk a while ago, despite him being at the top, there is really no one that stands beside him in terms of the dancehall space and the Jamaican artistry, or the artistry originating from Jamaica. Notwithstanding that man is showing up every single day in whatever shape, form, and bringing the people along him on that journey. And sharing those moments. And as I say, no matter what I say, him don't have to be posting, him don't necessarily have to do anything, but one, he's smart because he acknowledges how, back to the original conversation, how content has become so central to everything we do. He understands that, as well as him himself, not knowing that he's doing what he doesn't necessarily need to do, if you just put it at the somewhere, but he's doing what he thinks is true to be done in his assessment, as you've said, of the whole landscape and just the digitalization and how he has been in it, right? And to you, Jurick, I want to hear from you broadly just on just Vybz Kartel. Just your thoughts on him, whether or not he has influenced your artistry or not. You can answer that question, but generally, just your objective, assessment, particularly as a young artist coming up, because to me, as a young artist, if you want an example coming out of Jamaica in recent time that really gives you the epitome of what it takes and the extent to which you can carry your craft, Vybz Kartel is the pinnacle of that right now, to a lot of respects. How you feel about that? How you feel about that Kartel in the space, and how you feel from how he's done and achieved what he's done? How you feel? Are there any takeaways that you've had, or anything of the sort?
Alright, so my take is, when it comes on to the essence of dancehall, there's always been, a forerunner. There's always been persons that, come and contribute, and there's always persons that come and go. Is no excuse right now for say, Vybz Kartel himself didn't make an impact, or is not still making impact in the world, or in the Jamaican diaspora. We grew up, me personally, I grew up a list of all of different artists. Vybz Kartel are one of them. But per se, being influenced, I would say, he was one of the persons that would have looked to for the blueprint at that time as an artist. Over a period of time, you evolve and you start, come to your own, identity and thing. So, I wouldn't say that, the effect of Vybz Kartel is never present, or has never been present in the culture of, Jamaica, or in the diaspora, and even worldwide. So, would I be biased if I just say, you not do nothing, what? No, would I be a liar to myself? And this is not just me just piggybacking off anybody or what anybody think. As in, I believe like once you made a contribution to a particular area or a particular sector or a particular what do I call it? Feel, you get the honors and the praises where you deserve in a particular area, even if other people think otherwise. So, that I might take.
Yeah, I'm going to take the theme of contribution going into my next, question. But before that, I want personally, on behalf of VSR, VSMP, the whole movement, big up Vybz Kartel. But me a joke a day and say, yo, mommy, we get a collaboration from Vybz Kartel and a post that we did about Straight Vybz. Big up Straight Vybz. We don't have a back right now. That's not the type of night we're having, but usually we would have, But big up Vybz Kartel, Straight Vybz, the whole team, Down Sound, Scatter, all of them, This year we also had one of our songs, Apache, Pain, Young Wild Apache Pain, on some fest, and a part of that push was a big contribution from Vybz Kartel, just kind of sharing that and allowing people to see that. So you know, and it's amazing, cause my Kartel, me a fan of Kartel since 2003, third farm champion, that a Kartel, that is Kartel, and effectively, so, but, you know, to originally how I opened this about how it influenced me, I have been a true fan of Kartel because he was the change at that time. I get my 13, third farm, right? Just did it. You know what I mean? And here, Kartel, you know, you see him progressing up to that time, and effectively that, in my mind, whether that aligns with the facts or whatever in terms of something about 2003 onward was me saying, Jaja, yeah, Kartel, I'm an artist, you know what I mean? So, you know, just to know, say, at this point in time, we have some kind of connectivity to this whole thing is a blessing. So, once again, big up Vybz Kartel, big up him entire team, big up Team Jamaica, again, just based on that. Again, it is my expression that Kartel has been a very important contributor, particularly now in this time, to this whole cultural movement that we've been discussing right now, you know, and the role that he has played in that is undeniable, as I think, you know, Jurick was kind of talking about, you know. But on the topic of kind of, you know, the purpose and kind of what you want to see out of this thing and your journey so far, and how you're able to express that. We'll kick it off with 1Clauze. 1Clauze, tell us, you know, you've been on this journey 5+ years, experienced things just in terms of, you know, the reception that you've received on the internet, you know, through your work and just you being you and expressing yourself, where you see this carrying you into the future, you know, what do you want to get from it, as well as what do you want to continue to pour in it, and ultimately what is some of the outcomes you want to see from your voice being expressed in this kind of new forum of things.
I don't see any sort of limit in terms of how far I can go, because at the root of what it is, whether it's, you know, me talking shit to my phone, what it really is the attention of a lot of people, particularly young people. And when I make more conscious videos and thoughtful videos, I can see it has had a significant impact on how and what young people think about. And so I don't see any sort of limitation on what I can achieve, as long as I maintain that type of product, which I find that people, more so that they're necessarily inspired, they find what I do relatable. And a lot of people think that I'm saying things that they think and, you know, they're afraid to say, or I'm in a position where, you know, I'm saying what they feel and things like that. So it's really, I can't say what specific ambitions I have in mind at this point, but I really don't see any sort of limit on what I can achieve, as long as I can maintain the sort of impact I've had now on the phone.
No, that's impactful, you know what I mean? And again, I think the era and the time we're in, more than ever before, is allowing more people to make bold statements by that, and not only make them, but truly believe in them, in terms of accomplishing that, you know, and, you know, with that said, segueing to Jurick, you know, in terms of purpose and what you're trying to do, what you're trying to achieve, with your own voice, because you've had some success in your own right on the internet. You know, I say you've been definitely getting a lot of eyes, you know, a lot of people been reaching out and interacting with the music and the content and everything. Again, along the line of very positive messaging and just type of that energy, you know, and the reception has been extremely well. You know, you've had success on the internet, if you want to put it to that standard metrics of views and you've had multiple successes. In terms of purpose, what does purpose look like for you? You know, and that's how you continue to navigate this space in achieving that.
So, you know, a few years ago, somebody asked me, like, why you dream? Like, why you dream for be? And, you know, being a kid, you would say, oh, my dream was always, boss, and, you know, help out my family, my sister, my brother, and we move from this and that. And, you know, that was always the main thing, the opportunity to, you know, so-called be free. And, you know, after a period of time, that changed. It changed where purpose is our dreams, our purpose is more driven by my direct take on what we can contribute to, you know, the world itself.
Yeah.
That's what me pray. It's not about no status thing or based on no monetary thing, because with all these things, once you work by the sweat of your brow, all of these things will come.
Yeah.
So that is a science behind it, where, you know, some people that confuse it with, this overnight success or this thing will have to do it because it I got free with. But in truth and space, what really free or what really keep you upon that purpose, the same thing we are talking about, being the authentic self, the part of you where people try to deny.
Yeah.
The part of you where people try for, you know, say, Clauze is limited because him don't speak a lot of positivity, or Paul is limited because him have a different outlook on things. But that is one of the things that we stand out as the individual that make the difference, is in the part that the spark of you there where people can't deny, but it sometimes make them uncomfortable. Yeah. Is in, so we'll go back around to purpose. My purpose is not driven by just vanity and them thing that again is more of the effect or the impact what we can make in a people's life through a positive route or through a place where them can see me as an inspiration. In no matter which form you probably see it in, which lens, which eye, which camera. The camera or the camera, no matter how them look. Is what I say? That a purpose to me.
Yeah, no jokes. And, you know, to sharing that purpose, you know, I say we spoke about this before, but we've had the opportunity to experience Jurick's artistry in a different way, you know, obviously, because we're working on it with him, you know what I mean? We're collaborating with him on it, you know what I mean? And we've been able to see it through a different lens, you know what I mean? And as we consume it and help to bring it to life and bring the ideas to life and bring it across, and we're seeing that reciprocation, is truly a powerful thing. And we truly believe that the basis of it comes from a powerful place with a powerful purpose, with a powerful outcome, you know. And for us at VSR, it is truly spirited in what we've been trying to do over the past 4 years, which is effectively allow for a platform for young upcoming artists, particularly within the construct where those platforms are not usually there in any grander, widespread way, you know what I mean? Again, you know, lots and lots of talent is there, you know, and we truly believe that the global gate is so huge, and the benefit that we can pull from it is so much more immense than what we're pulling from it now. And a part of our purpose is to just fly the gate and just bring as much people through it as possible, and effectively, you know, be a part of a catalyst that brings the entire nation through the gate. You know what I mean? That's kind of what we're expressing. Before we wrap it up, so we're going to wrap it up shortly. I'm going to ask you guys one more question. So, clause in reflection, right? And just in going forward. A lot of the times we think about things we could have done differently, or things that in hindsight would have been a learning in decision in how we would have made a future move, right? In reflecting on your journey so far, what advice would you share as critical advice to young Jamaicans specifically, right? As well as young persons more broadly, as well as not even young, just persons on a journey of fulfillment, which is really and truly all of our common journey, right? All of us just want to be happy, fulfilled, and you know what I mean, experience life in that way. But long story short, what from your journey so far has been your takeaways? And if you could impart, you know, just a few pointers on takeaways to take and things to do to aid your actualization of your dream, what would those things be?
I think the most important thing that I've learned, and this was essential within what I did before with the resources, and it's kind of the fabric of the social media, is having to show up every day, put in work every day, think about what you're doing every day. And even if it doesn't seem as if it's complex or complicated, and it seems like simple, repeatable tasks, it's not necessarily relying on the motivation to maintain your dream, but the discipline to keep putting in the small efforts and keep moving the needle and keep moving it forward slightly. And the most important thing is not necessarily shooting up and making a giant breakthrough, but working at a level and an effort that you can replicate and maintain. Yeah. Because a lot of the time, when you work off of momentum and you work off of motivation and you work off of inspiration, which is the basic requirement of anything creative, yeah, it's very easy to go all in on one thing and it may not work out. And it's very easy to try and stick to one giant leap forward. And sometimes it does work out. And that's when, you know, you're even in a worse position than if it didn't, because now it's next to impossible to make that huge leap again. And you end up not being able to maintain, and you don't even fall off as a result of quality. You more fall off because you weren't able to hit the same height. And so it's really, if I could impart anything that I've learned, the most important thing is, you know, the race really isn't for the swift. It's really about those who can maintain the level every day and put in the same effort every day and know that whatever it is that you want to do, it doesn't matter whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, a crook or a wasteman, you have to do it every day. Yeah. So.
Straight, no man, that was a powerful one. We're going to ask Jurick in similar vein, Jurick, you know, just based on the journey so far. And again, you know, one of the things is always a reflection to in this whole thing, and I think I will bring it to the fore, is acknowledging your wins, and really being grateful for each blessing as you get them, you know what I mean? And really being able to tune into them, keen in on them and be like, yeah, you know what I mean? No matter how big, small, really and truly is a blessing, you know what I mean? And again, Jurick, as a blessed youth, you know, how has your journey been from a takeaways perspective, and whether it be another young upcoming artist, whether it be another person from a challenging life situation, whether it be from just a regular Jamaican youth, what are some of the takeaways that you'd kind of share?
All right, so, you know, from personal experience, I think I probably share this with you already. One of the main things we used to trouble with is being alone. You know, that was one of the things that I was like always alone. I used to wonder like, why am I always alone? But you know, after a period of time, you grow up and you realize why I was always alone is you giving the room to figure out who you is. You know, figuring out what the next step, even when you don't have all the Lego pieces for really build upon, you know. So my takeaway from this is, you know, discipline, it presents itself in all, it represents you in all rooms, all areas of your life. And that is something I feel like most youths are, even people my age, you know, need for adding to them life, because discipline is something that teach me that, you know, even when you don't want to do something, or even when you don't have the energy or the motivation, as class say, it's like this fire inside of you. I say, yo, mother, you need to do this, or else this can, you need this type of motion, else the wave can flow. You see, so, you know, me tell any youth this, you know, have discipline, you know, and if you feel like you're stuck in a life right now and you're lonely and you don't know who to turn to, the best person to turn to are the most high. You know my style already. We always go back to this, so, because me was one of them youth that I run from that, because I feel like I did have all the answers. And he leave me back right there, so I said, Jano, Father God, I really say, you carry me through for realize, say, yo, I have to come back to you for the direction and the plan and the layout, and I see where it appear in my life, where even certain things stop happening to me. I stop have bad experiences with people. I stop in a different, chaotic environment. And I see him I could have find VSR, because being alone, it make you can identify certain things. So as I say, discipline, don't follow the crowd, and just be the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
Straight.
We make two, we call them fire questions. So fire question response short. First thoughts to your mind. Let us know what you're thinking. We shoot 2 to Clauze, 2 to Jurick. First one for Clauze. Clauze, we know that horse racing is a part of your vibe. In terms of the discussions that we've been having here, horse racing is a part of culture, entertainment, right? Where do you see that in its role within that overall Jamaica manifestation of benefits coming from culture and just who we are as a people?
Well, it was one of the few things that all Jamaicans were able to share with, whether it was the wealthy or the not wealthy. They came to the track, they bet on the horses, they watch the horses run, they listen to it on the radio. There wasn't a lot of access to public sporting events. Football wasn't at that level. Cricket wasn't accessible to everybody. So it's something that has always brought about Jamaicans from country, Jamaicans from town, uptown, downtown. They've been unified through that. In the past, especially, because it was pretty much the first and then only sport at the time that catered to the public. Now it's kind of lost its way as a cultural unifier, but it still, in my opinion, has the potential to unify Jamaicans from all walks of life and aspects. And I mean, everybody I've carried to the track, everybody, you know, that's been and interacted with the horses themselves and just seeing the atmosphere of a race. It's like a goal score every 20 minutes, and the thrill of, you know, how it turns out. And, you know, I mean, you don't even have to gamble to find it exciting. So, you know, it's something that I think a lot of people, they just need to go there once to experience it, and then them say, wow, you know, it's actually fun.
Vibes.
So,
Fire question few. So I think you already made the declaration, but I'm going to ask you the question again. You provide your answer, why you gave that answer, and just your expressions of, of the other person who you didn't choose in first instance. King of the Dancehall, Vybz, Kartel, or Beenie Man?
Well, one person gave themselves the title, and the other one was crowned. Now, with all credit to Beenie, it's going to be very difficult for another Jamaican to replicate the number of sales he's had in foreign and the impact he's had both foreign and locally. I can give an anecdotal story, the difference between hype and fame. I go on Club in the Grill, big up Jungle, and Milwaukee and DJ called my name, couple of people big me up, blah, blah, blah. When Beenie Man came in that same night, there was a neat and orderly line of around 30 women for the whole duration of the party, just waiting them turn for say hello to him, take a picture with him. And it's like, over here, some of them said them whole year, make, and can't believe you don't get to see him. And the man just normal, just, him have nothing to do him, so him I go out. Basic thing like that, so it really showed me that, I respect you, the man is an icon within the culture and the scene, but, the impact that the teacher has had within the local culture as it relates to influencing the youth, them both negatively and positively, has vastly, exceeded Beenie. I don't think none of the youth them wearing a locks or doing a thing because Beenie did it, but whereas a lot of the bleaching and the tattoo and certain things that people do, it's a direct result of the influence of the teacher. So, Beenie, big up yourself, but yeah, Kartel is the king.
All right. I'm not gonna stick on that, but generally, I think that argument too is a generational one. I think, while it may be articulated, I guess, based on age or where they stood in terms of things that they were not close enough, because, Beenie had doing a long time, right, in terms of years in the business, right? But, sometimes I think it's a general one, but I think, as you said, without a doubt, both have made significant impact on us. Again, Jamaica music, entertainment, and culture, and effectively has played a huge part in Jamaica's standing and presence on the global scale, So big up Kartel, big up Beenie Man. Jurick, question to you. So we're going to shoot few questions. So I have a little story to tell you. So Jurick showed me and say, yo, P, say me I walk on the road and I find Rvssian laptop. I say, what you say? Jokes, but you guys will know what that means. But the question to you, Jurick, I heard a song that you had on the storybook Riddim. It hasn't been authorized to any knowledge of mine, but tell us a little bit about that idea, how it came up, as well as the messaging of the song, which is a very, very, where the good man gone, that was one of the things, so give you a quick shot on that, how it came about, and how you seen that manifest, because that has also been a part of some of the highlight you've been getting on the internet recently, so talk to people about it.
So with that song, it's like one day I scroll up on TikTok, I'm up on TikTok one day, and it's like, I notice like TikTok does randomly I show me these videos, but then was I show me bare women just ranting, and I say, yo, the man them are this and the man them DL, and I say, what them people are really talking about? And like, it's like this energy came to my spirit, and like, me amazed it, and I say, yo, but it's like, is a thing where really happen. Yeah. Is women speak out on these things, and women, I give them 2 cents on it. And in regards to that, it just kind of put me in a corner for really say, in relations to what them I say, there's still real men out here we still hold the order, we still true to themselves, we still love women, we still want for, put women in a position of, say, women are women. Yeah. So, I just come to the idea, say, yo, I really need to write a song. And you did propose, you like I say, yo,
you find the laptop, that's
I like I say, yo.
Yeah, so it would have been a good look, man.
Yeah, if you,
Big Riddim.
and then I say, yo.
Yeah.
I say, shoot, alright. And it's like the same day, it's like, I did there and I made it and I take out my iPad, connect up and I just start record and when I record it, I send it and it's like, when I say, yo, P, this is how me feel and this is how I feel like that the space is. And it went viral, it went a neat thing.
Reality for sure.
Is in, but in real regard still is like, I feel like, when I say all men, but there is a level of, or there's a percentage of men where, them kind of weak out and we kind of need to fix that.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
Yeah. It's your number few for Jurick to round this out. Dead or alive, you have one collaboration in your entire music career to make. You're only getting one shot at it to collaborate with an artist, dead or alive. Who would that artist be? Why would you do it? And how would you see the song sounding, or how you would kind of vibe it?
I never really think about this because, as mentioned, I listen to a lot of artists when I grew up. One of the first person was, MJ. MJ was one of them artists that was stand up based on, him just being in his own lane. Yeah. But that kind of hard. What I say, Whitney Houston?
Yeah.
Well, Whitney was one of them artists. Let me tell you, Whitney was one of them Whitney was that artist where when I feel sad, when I feel happy, it's like the whole catalog of emotions.
Class dropper, for that. So,
yeah, man.
I want your class like a 2 cents per week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So,
Billy.
Whitney hit all these, the emotions and even the thought process, even from I was a kid.
Yeah.
Is in, even up to this day, if you go in my Spotify playlist, there is a playlist of just Whitney Houston. Is in, so I could have said all about different artists, but I just feel like Whitney Houston is one of them artists that will stand out to me, based and show all a space in my heart, to the emotions growing up as a kid. Is he? I could have said Bob Marley, I could have said much different people, but I never really hear nobody say Whitney. Is in.
And that was your truth, you know what I mean? So yeah, rest in peace, Whitney Houston. Just to close it out for some there, cause as Jay was giving that expression.
No, man, big artist, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, ball, scream, cry, all them Jamaican do to witness her. No, I really think she's as he said before, just all the ranges of emotions, she captured it. So,
yeah,
man, I say we must have sensible answer.
Yeah. So, Riddim Reality, will it be? We don't know, you know what I mean? But I say we link up today, we held a vibe, you know what I mean? Clauze, big up yourself, as you say, my brother.
Never few.
Yeah, never few, you know what I mean? It happened so organically, they sit down, you know what I mean? And I said, just the energy since we met the connect and since we actually get here and actually sitting down, nothing but energy, as you hear him, obviously, you consume stuff on the internet and, you build a connection with personalities on the internet. And, it's not oftentimes that you may get an experience to actually be side by side with that person to see how they truly are, because you hear instances where people may be one way in the public facing thing, but a different way in a real life. Them man, 1Clauze, never few, you know what I mean? Yeah, man, big up 1Clauze. Appreciate the time, my brother, we see how it goes from here. Jurick, big up every single time, my bro, as I know this, till the wheels fall off type thing, you know what I mean? This a teamwork, dreamer, family, everything, you know what I mean? So, big up Jurick. Give us some closing remarks, you know what I mean? Tell us what you're working on, just what you're up to, what you
alright. So, we have a project that come out. It's a project for the females. It's long overdue. So if you're into like you know, the parts I love where people not really try for articulate or try for push forth. I have a project I come out named My Ex Oxytocin, you know, production by VSR. I don't know already. So that gonna be epic as well. You know, I have a couple other projects coming out with other producers and thing. You know, that is a surprise, so you can look out for that. And as I say, the journey continue. The journey continue with as I say, with light and truth, and that's how we stand upon. Yeah. You know, we know the real journey, how it starts and how we really want to go. So, you know, if we want to stick around to see where it go, we just do that. We're not going to be disappointed. Most definitely.
This is a VSR production.